Brothers and sisters, today is the feast of Our Lady of Fatima. It's also the feast of Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament of the Eucharist, a feast that was asked to be instituted by St. Peter Julian Eymard, the great apostle of the Eucharist. But we know that the Eucharistic theme runs right through Fatima, that the angel appeared with the Eucharist and the chalice to the three shepherd children a whole year in advance of the apparitions to prepare them, and also to set the tone that this apparition in Fatima, when Our Lady came from heaven, is to remind us of the fundamental importance of the Eucharist, to pray for conversion, and also to announce, to call us back to a deep, deep reparation for sin. In other words, that for our sins that we broke against God, we can do things in the opposite direction by loving, by penance. Come back to this theme of penance shortly, but the idea of making reparation not only for ourselves but for others in love, that we can offer sacrifices from love. It has to be from love, and that can repair of the faults of our brothers and sisters in the faith and in the world towards Christ. And so the idea of reparation brings us to the whole theme of penance. Now, penance is like a dirty word for some people because it conjures all sorts of images of harshness and sort of maybe duty or doing things that deny our nature, etc. However, I want to recapture this word because really penance is something extraordinarily beautiful. Penance is normal. We all do penance, whether we call it penance or not, when we truly love. It's to forego things for the sake of the beloved, and to do those things with love, and they're proofs of love. So whether you're in a relationship, the person knows that you love them when you go out of your way. You've sacrificed something that you really wanted for their good. And so that's penance. True relationships call for penance. But the same thing with our relationship with God. But it's different for God. None of our penance make God greater or better or benefit God more in one sense, because God is perfect and is in needing of none of our penances. However, it's good for us. But when God took a human heart in Jesus, our penance, in other words, our ability to want to forego things or take on difficult things out of love for Him, consoles His human heart. And so this great mystery of God who could never be consoled. One of the messages of Fatima is that in the heart of Jesus, with a real human heart, God, Jesus Christ, is consoled by us, or when we do things, penance, for the sake of Him, out of love, it brings great joy to His heart. Today I want to speak about Blessed Charles de Foucauld as well, on penance, since we have our eyes towards his canonization. And he says, "My Lord and my God, I need you to speak to me of penance. Make me love it. Show me its beauty. Make me see how inseparably it is bound up with your love, and then tell me what to do, and finally help me to do it." And he says, Jesus says to him in his heart, "My child, you have already spoken of penance. You do not need to be shown its beauty. Is it not enough for you to know that I practice it all through my hidden life, that I practice it all through my public life, as the gospel tells, that I fasted for 40 days and died upon the cross? Is this example not enough to make you enter with all your strength into the spirit of penitence, with no other motive than pure love and the simple need to imitate, resemble me, share my life, and above all my sufferings? And if your love is so small that my example is not enough for you, you have my words. Do penance." And Blessed Charles hears those words, do penance, in these words of Jesus. "When the bridegroom is no longer with them, they will fast." Jesus then goes on, "This devil will not go forth save by prayer and fasting. And if my example and my words seem to you obscure, though they are as clear as day, you have the example of my saints. Everyone without exception is a commentary and should prove to you their love and desire for penance." So as I said, penance is just a natural desire in us when we truly love someone. Call it sacrifice, call it mortification, call it giving up good things for the sake of the beloved, however you want to say it. But it's just part of love. And that's why it's part of Christianity, a religion of love. He says, "Whenever you deny yourself anything, however small it may be, perhaps an impulse of curiosity, looking about you, eating an extra mouthful, driving away from a fly, or refusing some small comfort, some small desire, the merest trifle, if you do it for love of me, to offer me a sacrifice, you offer me an act of adoration and worship, which pleases me and gives me great honor. All the more is it so when you sacrifice something that costs you more, a great humiliation, some severe penance, a long vigil, or a vow that it costs much to observe. Then Jesus goes on. So you see how those who love me seek and desire to glorify me, by offering me this wonderful accumulation of honor, by doing such actions in a spirit of sacrifice, offering me from morning till night all sorts of mortifications, great and small. They do not need to preach or come out of their seclusion. It is enough that they deny themselves and suffer these little privations with love. Every minute of suffering endured for my name and offered honors me in a sweet-smelling sacrifice. So, brothers and sisters, on this great feast of Fatima, let us ask Jesus to help us to just prove our love, to show, give him sacrifices of our love all day long.